The ability to make animations in SOLIDWORKS is available in every license of SOLIDWORKS. This is a keyframe-based animation tool where every diamond on the time bar at the bottom of the screen represents a state of a light, a camera, a visibility setting of a part, a color, and when I make a change to something, like when I move this car to the end of the track at the 6-second mark, it creates a new keyframe. And when I hit the Calculate button, SOLIDWORKS is going to infer the positions of all the points in between those two keyframes by interpolating between the two positions while also trying to respect all mates in the assembly. I can use the same technique to make changes to how the assembly is positioned on the screen. Here I'm going to move my time bar out to 6 seconds and change the view to a front view. Maybe zoom in a little bit on the end. And when I play the animation again, the position is going to gradually shift from the starting position to the ending position. But what if I don't want that movement to start right away when the animation starts? Well, these keyframes can be copied and pasted. So if I copy the keyframe representing the position of the camera at the beginning and paste it onto the 1 second mark, now that motion won't start until the time bar gets to 1 second in. Likewise, I can do the same thing on the other end. I'll copy the final position keyframe, bring the time bar to 5 seconds, and paste it there. So now when I play my animation, the entire move takes place between 1 and 5 seconds of this 6-second animation. I'm going to go ahead and delete these keyframes because in many ways a better way to work is by using cameras. Just created an extra keyframe there, so let me delete that. I'm going to pull the time bar back to 1 second and create a new camera. When I'm editing the camera, the screen splits left and right, where the left side of the screen shows me the camera from a third-person perspective, and the right side of the screen shows me what that camera is going to see. And I can make changes on either side, and the other will update. There's a lot going on here, but the first thing I want to edit is the roll. I don't want my camera to turn upside down, so I'm going to pick Set Roll by Selection and pick the floor of my assembly so that the camera stays upright. That looks a lot better. And I can set the position of the camera and accept. Now my camera is listed as one of my standard view orientations I can pick. I may want to control where the camera is looking by using Target by Selection and picking a point on my car. And just to emphasize this, it might make sense to zoom in on the car so that we can see that the camera is following it. I can do this manually, or I can go into my camera properties and pick a standard lens angle like you would have in the real world. And that property is going to stay consistent through the animation. The camera is going to adjust to the location of the car. Pretty cool. Let's take that a step further and change the position of the actual camera as the car is driving as well. To do that, I'm going to use a sketch that I've already created in this assembly. Just a line up in the air above the car. And when I click on that, it's going to position the camera like it's on a dolly track. I can slide from one end to the other. So what I'll do is I'll start with the camera hovering over on the side where the car starts, and at the final point in the animation I'll have the camera end up all the way on the other side. And the animation is going to interpolate between those 2 points, so when I play it back the camera slides along, staying pretty much to the side of my car. Again, just like a camera on a dolly track in real life. Let's do another interesting thing here. Let's place the location of the camera inside the car. This is another thing we can't do with our standard SOLIDWORKS views, is put the camera inside of our model geometry. So I've got a point placed in the car and then a point out in front of the car for the camera to point at, and we'll just pull back the zoom angle so that we can tell that we're sitting inside the car as it drives along. That's really slick. Let's try one more thing. Let's place the camera on the track right in front of the car. We'll pick the focal point of the camera to be right on the front of the car. And we don't want the camera to stay still while the car drives over it. We want the camera to move along in front of the car. So at the end of the animation, we want the camera to have slid down all the way to the other end of that spline, all the while staying ahead of the car. Be sure to subscribe to TriMech for more SOLIDWORKS tech tips.